Hey gang, this is Vicki Kelly with the Golden Rule Trades. Going to go over our setups for the morning method. And it was a bit tricky today. I'll walk through what the system did, but I got to tell you, I took a couple more stop outs than this shows. So just to let you know. Um, the start today, the setup began pre-market. And when that happens, it can be awfully tricky at the open to figure out exactly what the pattern is because sometimes it completes the pre-market pattern, sometimes it doesn't. Let me show you what that looked like. Here was pre-market. And as you can see, it got clear down into this box. I consider the pattern completed when it goes halfway between this line and this line, which it did, as again, at the open is the trickiest part of the system. And so I actually scalped it from here to here. And when I saw it reverse, I got out. Um, but that's not, again, when it sets up pre-market, we don't take the signal in our system. I did just because I saw what it was doing here and scalped it a little bit. Um, so then we see that it set up during regular hours, a buy signal here. Unfortunately, let me get that out of your way. By the time it confirmed here, and it went clear up again, more than halfway towards our target. So this was a non-trade. It was a beautiful trade, but we did not have any signals to get in because remember, we wait for two confirmations, these two right here. By the time that's signaled, we are well past our last entry point, and it went more than halfway into this energy box. And so I am not entering that trade. It just went on without us. Now, we had two announcements out today, or two times that announcements were out today, I guess I should say, 9:45 and 10 o'clock. So it was not unexpected that this would be a little choppy, and therefore we exercise more caution. Maybe we only do half size of our contracts, or we trade micros instead of minis, in order to make sure that we do not blow out our accounts just while this chop is going on. Because if you turn into a cocaine bear or a degenerate gambler, you're going to try to chase all of this, and you could easily blow up your account, and it hasn't even shown you what the pattern for the day is. So then again, there was no trade here because it went too far against us before we could get in, or too far in our favor, actually, before we got in. And so the one that did set up for the day was here. And in the course, I show you how to draw your lines. I call these the twigs. When you get a couple of, well, some people call them tail bars, some of them call them hammers, wiki candles at the top or bottom of the move. That's where I draw my lines. And as you can see, we had our confirmation on this candle here. We wait for it to come back to this line and enter in, and we were able to capture this move. We would have gotten out at our trigger line, or I'm sorry, our target line right there. If you were able to capture all of that, it would have been $737.50 per contract. Now, again, we may very well have gotten stopped out a time or so through here. I don't want to make this look rosier than it is, but this was our first win for the day, and that was a very, very nice move. Now, let me show you the next one that's set up and give you an idea of how I looked at it. This one was a tricky as well. There were a couple places you could have drawn the lines. You could start here, but as you see, there was no entry because by the time it confirmed, it would have been up to the 400 level. And so we don't want to go chasing it. because we don't know what it's going to do after that. But one of the things that we ask in our system is, as the pattern develops, where else could we have drawn the line? Were we wrong in where we drew the line? And so when this kept going to the upside, then I realized that the pattern was larger than what I had originally seen. And this makes sense because the energy lines have been about 10 points apart. And so this does look more like a typical energy line. The other thing that would have shown is, you see how it bounced back and forth between here. That's a very good indication that you're also in between these lines. So had I entered here, I would have gotten stopped out once because this was more than a 5-point move and I only have a 5-point stop out. But once we went back above this line, it shows that it was going to continue on, and we would have entered here and gotten out here. And had we been able to capture that, it would have been about a $900 move for that. So again, I did fine in my accounts. However, it was very nerve-wracking and very, it tested your patience because of all of this. Again, indications of why it should have been like that with the numbers that were coming out and everything, but it was a tricky day to trade. So hopefully you kept your discipline in check and were able to capture that move. It did go up further, as you can see. You could have gotten a lot more of that move. There is an advanced move that I don't count as part of the system, but can use in order to capture that next move. Well, let's try again. And that would have looked like this here. Could have caught that move and would have gotten another pattern to the upside that would have gotten out here. But I don't count that as part of the system. That's advanced, and I can do that in my personal account, but I don't count it as part of our educational account because I want to make things as simple as possible. Remember, 2 out of 3 days, the market is non-trending, and those are the days that we do the best on, and they put the odds in our favor the most. So I hope you have a great evening and good luck trading.